Old. Warning, spoilers ahead. At the beginning of the movie, we follow the Kappa family, parents Guy and Priska, and their children Maddox and Trent. The family arrives at a tropical resort for a family vacation where the resort manager welcomes them. A resort employee offers them a special complimentary cocktail based on the food and drink choices they have selected when they booked their rooms. The resort is called Anamika, which in Sanskrit means anonymous. After settling in their rooms, Trent and Maddox befriend a boy named Idlib, a resort's manager nephew. In their room, Guy finds a brochure belonging to a pharmaceutical company named Warren & Warren. The company is associated with the resort. Guy is familiar with them because he worked for an insurance company that recommended Warren & Warren. The children play a game asking other guests their names and what their jobs are. Here, they meet a police officer and talk to him. Idlib sends Trent a special cryptogram letter to his room to decode messages. In the letter, every alphabet was symbolized by an image. That night, Trent and Maddox overhear their parents arguing. Guy and Priska are getting a divorce, and this is the last family vacation they wanted to give their children before the separation. Priska is in an additional awful situation because she is suffering from a stomach tumor. The next morning, a middle-aged Dr. Charles is having breakfast with his young wife, Crystal, who is suffering from hypocalcemia, his daughter, Kara, and his mother, Agnes. At a table next to theirs, a woman named Patricia is having an epileptic seizure. Charles and her husband, Jarin, immediately help her. The resort manager informs the guests about a once-in-a-lifetime experience beach, where they can all hang out and chill. The Kappa family, with Charles and his family, go to a private beach in a van. Theo, the resort's driver, is driving the van. He takes the group to the private beach, although there is a clear sign that says entry is forbidden. Theo drops them near the beach and gives them a lot of food and drinks. Everything is free because the trip was organized by the resort. Before arriving at the beach, they pass through a huge rock structure. At the beach, Maddox recognizes a famous rapper, Brendan, who came with a female friend. They went skinny dipping. All kids are having fun at the beach and the adults are chilling on the sand. The girls discover old dolls buried in the sand. While swimming near the cave, Trent discovers the dead body of Brendan's female friend. She probably drowned. Brendan is in shock and his nose starts to bleed, but Charles is suspicious of him. He examines the dead body. Jarin and Patricia also come to the beach. The van driver Theo and his colleague who brought them to the beach strangely disappeared without saying anything. When Patricia saw the dead body, she got scared. Soon after, Crystal starts to cry because Agnes has a hard time breathing. As Charles was checking her breathing, Agnes died in front of him. Jarin wanted to call for help, but his phone had no signal. He started to walk back through the huge rock structure, but as soon as he reached the edge, he felt a tremendous headache and blacked out. Some invisible force would not let him walk that way. The children start to experience something really strange. Brendan explains that his female friend had multiple sclerosis and he has hemophilia, which explains his nosebleeds. Jarin and Patricia are talking to Trent and Maddox, who all of a sudden aged into pre-teenagers along with Kara. The group decides to leave the beach, but as soon as they approach the rocks that close off the beach from the outside, they have a headache and black out and wake up right where they left. They noticed a lot of unusual things, like when injured, they heal within seconds. Brendan notices the dead body of his female friend is now completely decomposed within hours. There is nothing left of her except bones. They figured out that something time-related is happening on the beach. All of a sudden, the tumor inside Priska's stomach starts to cause her pain and agony. The adults want to help her. They start to feel the tumor, which is now the size of a golf ball. They need to remove the tumor, but in a matter of seconds, the tumor is now the size of a cantaloupe. Charles performs surgery to remove the tumor. The cut on her stomach heals in a matter of seconds. Kara and Trent age up into young adults. The weird thing is that Kara is somehow 5 months pregnant after having sex with Trent only a couple of minutes earlier. Kara gave birth, but the child dies after a minute. The other adults are showing more signs of rapid aging. Crystal, in particular, takes the process of aging harder than the rest of the group. Charles is starting to lose his mind to schizophrenia. This causes him to kill Brendan. The group controlled Charles by taking the weapon. They try to come up with a plan to escape the beach. They know it is impossible to go through the rocks, so Jaren decides to swim to find another way. Meanwhile, Trent and Maddox find a notebook left by a previous visitor. In the notebook, every name and medical condition is written down. Maddox asks his mother, Priska, if she and Guy are getting a divorce. Priska admits she is seeing someone else. Maddox is angry at her. She goes out to the beach. She also discovers Jaren's dead body, who drowned. When Patricia saw Jaren's body, she suffers a seizure and dies. Kara is desperate to find a way out. She starts to climb up the rocks, but before she makes it to the top, she blacks out, falls, and dies. Trent is devastated by her death. That night, Charles is getting more insane. Crystal is also losing her mind because she is aging rapidly. Her health is declining, she grows a calcium hump on her back. Guy's eyesight is getting worse and Priska is grayer. Guy and Priska talk about her other man. Guy knew about him. He is sorry he didn't do much to save their marriage, but he also states that she deserves someone better than that man. Charles is frantic and he attacks Guy and Priska. At the same time, Crystal attacks Trent and Maddox. She follows them into the cave where her body gets twisted and deformed, and she dies. Priska stabs Charles with a rusty knife, which caused an infection that spread rapidly through his body and kills him. The Kappa family gathers around the fire on the beach. Guy is much older now and has trouble speaking. He admits to Priska that he still loves her before he dies. Priska stands up on her feet, but falls and dies. Trent and Maddox are mourning their parents. The next morning, Trent and Maddox are in their 50s. Trent brings up Idlib's code, which he finally decoded. It means, "My uncle doesn't like the coral." The brothers notice the coral reef nearby. They realized that it is their way out. They swim to the coral reef, but Maddox's clothes get stuck on the reef. Unfortunately, the brothers don't resurface. Theo, the van driver who brought the family to the beach, reports to his bosses that all the members of Trial 73 are dead. Theo drives up to the resort and the lab area. It is revealed that the resort is a front for a medical research team, Warren and Warren. They lure people with different medical conditions to the beach. There, they perform all kinds of clinical trials for life-saving drugs, which are given to them in the complimentary cocktails upon arriving. The beach has supernatural powers due to the coral reef, which speeds up the aging process. For them, this is fortunate because they reduce the clinical trials to a whole day for better results. The medical team believes they cured Patricia's epilepsy, considering that she did not have a seizure for 8 hours, which is equivalent to 16 years on the beach. The resort manager and his co-workers tried to illegally catch their latest victims, but they are stopped by Maddox and Trent. The brothers successfully freed themselves from the coral reef. At the resort while he was a child, Trent spoke to a police officer. Now, as a grown man, Trent gives him a notebook he found on the beach with all the information about all the missing people and their medical conditions. Idlib spots Trent and immediately recognizes him. Maddox and Trent tell the whole truth to everyone. The authorities arrested all the resort employees. In the last scene, the police officer takes Maddox and Trent to see their aunt. She will see her nephews as full-grown adults.